Hey everyone, it's your boy Star God. I am back with another video. This time, we're doing another Proud Boy member, one called Tiny Toes. And apparently, he's in a lot of trouble. For what you might say, what kind of crimes are against this true American patriot? A lot. Like a fucking good amount. But then, I'm not gonna spoil surprise. Instead, I'm gonna read it, and you guys are gonna find out for yourselves. Because that to me sounds like something that's more favorable. Because this guy right here, he's mm, how I say this? He has a bit of a violent streak. But then again, all members of the Proud Boys do. But this nigga right here, he's special. Anyways, Proud Boy brawler Tiny Toes finally faces charges for Portland rampage. City leaders had allowed Toes. I'm just gonna call him Toes. It's not Toes, but it's something else. I'm gonna call him Toes. So I don't expect him anyway to even try to pronounce his name to begin with. City leaders allowed Toes to skip town after allegedly instigating an August melee featuring clubs, paintball guns, bear spray, and explosions. Proud Boy baller Tulsa Tiny Toes has been extradited to Oregon to face 11 charges stemming from a street battle with Antifa counter-protesters in Portland last August. Toes was arrested and had been in jail in Washington state since January on charges of unlawful breaching the grounds of the Washington government mansion and assaulting an officer on January 6, 2021, in an echo of violence at the U.S. Capitol. While those charges are still pending, Toles was moved to Oregon Tuesday and arraigned Wednesday on multiple counts of assault, riot, unlawful use of a weapon, and criminal mischief. Now, riot, right? You would think that these guys would be against that type of stuff, especially a riot, you know? They say that all the time. Yeah, we're just trying to protect our neighborhoods from all that type of stuff. And yet, he's over here participating in a riot. Participating. A Proud Boy. Huh. I guess you learn something new every day. The Hawking Toes 25 has a long rap sheet for street fighting at protests, but the melee last August was remarkable in that Portland law enforcement actively chose not to intervene, allowing right and left wing militants to battle with clubs, paintball guns, bear spray, and explosions in a Kmart parking lot in east of the city. The Proud Boys are a violent Western Chauvinist organization. Top Proud Boys, including the group former leader Terrio, I'm not even gonna pronounce his full name. Terrio has been indicted on conspiracy charges for attempting to block the electoral college certification of Joe Biden's defeat of Donald Trump, designated by the Southern Poverty Law Center as a hate group. But Proud Boys particularly hate Antifa or anti-fascists who have a strong presence in Portland, home to one of the oldest groups in the County Road City, Antifa. The affidavit, the, the affidavit supporting Toes charges embedded below described the Proud Boy as a leader in the street fight that day, directing the action of the other fighters and taunting Antifa counter-protesters with a call and response style chant of "fuck around and find out." The affidavit quotes Toe's incitement of the crowd in advance of the street with rhetoric like "it's going to be 1776 up in this bitch," and issuing a warning to Antifa counter-protesters. "If you want to have our freedom, you're going to have to pull all of us 6 feet under." There is a bunch of Proud Boys, a bunch of veterans, and a bunch of patriots that are staying here on this property, that are ready to go battle for this. So try us. Following that speech, Toes assumed command of a group of half a dozen militants wearing tactical gear, carrying weapons including paintball guns, firearms, blunt weapons, explosive devices, and bear spray. The affidavit alleges when a group of counter-protesters rolled up in in the ambulance, it continues. Members of Toad's crew immediately began attacking the van and its occupants, causing extensive damage to the windows, tires, and vehicle body. After engaging in mutual combat with the van's occupants, chasing them off, the affidavit alleges Toad's retrenched with his group at Kmart for another battle that involved into a pursuit through city streets towards a public school. The two groups exchanged paintball gunfire and chemical sprays, and threw various explosives and paint-filled projectiles at one another as they moved towards nearby Park Rose High School. It was on Sunday, and school was thankfully not in session. Toad then personally led an attack on a silver Honda red-line truck, according to the affidavit. Of those who driver Toads insisted he's Antifa. Toads approached the vehicle and, using a bag he had carried with him from Kmart parking lot, broke out the driver's side window. The affidavit alleges before inciting fellow crew members to attack the truck and assault the driver. The driver was allegedly shot with paintball weapons, kicked by a militant wearing an armed motorcycle glove, and maced with bear spray before he was able to escape. When the physical violence began to break up, Toad stopped to talk to video journalists streaming the combat. "That's our message for you, Antifa," Toad said. "The Americans are coming out, and they are sick and tired of this shit. If we have to fight fire with fire, we're going to fucking do it. Fuck Antifa." The evidence is that Toes then instructed his followers to upend the Antifa ambulance, shouting, "Boys, flip this motherfucker over so they won't get to drive this bitch." When his compatriots couldn't do much more than rock the vehicle, Matthew Toes instructed them to get low and personally help them flip the van, according to the document. Despite being ID'd and photographed engaged in combat that day, Toes left Portland without being arrested. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler, who was also serves as a police commissioner, intentionally crowed about the success of the city's hands-off strategy in having contained the mayhem on August 22. Groups of people who have chose to engage in violence towards each other, but after images of the street battle sparked national outcry. Wheeler admitted he had badly bungled the affair, saying it was not the right strategy. I think we can all acknowledge that." Toes remained at large, and only weeks later engaged in a similar clash with Antifa counter-protesters in I can't pronounce it. In another place in see, I got that Rona. In another place in Washington, that combat featured live gunfire, and Toes was shot in the leg. He was hospitalized, but strangely also evaded arrest after that encounter. Toes is now facing 5 counts of assault, 2 counts of unlawful use of weapon, 2 counts of riot, and 2 counts of criminal mischief. Baltimore County prosecutors have asked that Toews be denied bail until trial. That's it. That's it. So, yeah. What a patriot he is. You know, telling his crew to go to a school while they find other people. Because that makes sense. Even if it's on a Sunday, why would you do that? Like, really? Even if it was on a Sunday, what if it wasn't? Would they still have done it? Probably. The way I see it, probably. He don't care about nobody else's life but his own and others around him. So I mean that as in his people. So it's clear to me that he don't give a fuck. He really don't. But hey, this is the American Patriot right here. Right here, American Patriot at its finest. Loving violence, participating in violence, attacking innocent people, all because of different views. America. That's all I gotta say.